All right. Take two. So, just in this video is for you. I realized your question about kettlebell certification is quite large, kind of. And I have a tendency to fucking ramble on for the next fucking 20 minutes. So I thought I'd just make a quick video and go over the basis of what each one is. And then it'll make our conversation tomorrow fucking hopefully easier. And you can watch this video at your leisure and even potentially do some training based on some of this shit, because you know how to do a lot of this already, I think. First organization we're going to talk about is the International Kettlebell and Fitness Federation. Steve Cotter created that organization, or he created it with Kevin Blackburn, I believe, who's running it now since Steve has passed, and then Steve's son Daniel is working with him. The IKFF, that's really my first major certification that I've gotten. They have 4 levels. They have level 1 and 2 are just your basic, I can go out and teach kettlebells, and then level 3 and level 4, now I can certify others to go out and do kettlebells. Let's go over the tests, just so you kind of get the idea of what you'd be getting into with those. IKFF level 1 and level 3, the test is exactly the same. The difference is how much weight you have to use. In level 1 you have to use 20 kilos, in level 3 you have to use 24 kilos. Again, the test is exactly the same though. Level 3 and level 4, level 2 and level 4 are again the same, 20 kilos versus 24 kilos. This is where you learn, level 1 and level 3 is where you're just using one bell the whole time. Level 2 and level 4, God, I'm fucking this up. Level 1 and 3, single bell. Level 2 and 4, double bell is the stuff that you're learning. 2 and 4 are much more competition based, whereas 1 and 3 still have that style to it, because he got all this stuff essentially from Russia, and in Russia, kettlebell competition is really what it is. Anyway, level 1, you have to do 100 switching swings, and it has to come up to at least your shoulder, and then you have to do 2 minutes per side of long cycles, so clean and jerk, 8 reps per minute. So 16 and then 16 on the other side. Then you go to snatches. You've got to do 60 snatches. There's no time period for that, just 60 snatches. Just like there's no time period for the 100 swings, just however long it takes. And then you have to do 30 squats. You can use goblet or either of the rack positions. That entire thing has to be done without ever putting the bell down. And for those timepieces, even if you can do the reps faster, you have to hold it for that entire time. So it'll look kind of like this. So you've got your 100 swings, boom, you just knock them out. As soon as you're done, up into the rack, your 2 minutes starts. Clean, jerk, cool. I finished all 16 reps, let's say, but I did it in a minute and a half. Now I'm sitting here waiting for the 30 seconds to be up. Therefore, I have to learn that resting rack position. Then I can switch hands. Boom, do my 16 on this side, same deal. Whatever time's left over in that 2 minutes, I've got to hold it for that amount of time. Then I go into my snatches. Again, no time period on the snatches. I can only switch my hands once. So if I'm doing 60 and I'm at 25 and I feel my hand is tearing and I switch, then I have to do the other 35 on the other side. So however you break that up. For your squats, you can hold it in the goblet position, but the bell's never allowed to touch your body. It has to stay separate. While you're doing your full squats, your butt has to get below your knees, even to or below, he used to say. Or I can use either rack position, so left hand or right hand, but I can never go back to one. So I can switch them as much as I want, but I can't go back. So if you start in the right-handed rack, you go to the left-handed rack, now you're done with the rack. If you need to move again, you're going to goblet, and that's where you have to finish. So 30 reps, but it's also a timed one, so that's 2 minutes as well. So if you finish your 30 squats in a minute, you got a fucking minute, you're gonna stand here holding the thing, hating your fucking life. And that's the whole test. It took me 14 minutes, I think, when I passed it. So that's 14 minutes of not putting the bell down. That's a long time. When you get to level 2, now we're into more competition-based stuff. You're essentially doing a kettlebell sport biathlon. Biathlon is jerk and snatch. So, kettlebell jerk, you do one double clean, get the bells up, and then you're just and that's your kettlebell jerk. You got to do 50 reps with two 20-kilo bells. Once you're done, you put them down. You have long enough to re-chalk your hands, grab the bell, and go straight into your snatches. Okay? 100 snatches in a row, one hand switch. There's no time to this one. You just got to do it all. The only part that's timed is the rest between the jerks and the snatch. He never gave me a specific time, but I feel like if you take more than 30 seconds, that's where he would about, you fail. And he really just said, he's like, the only time you get is to chalk your hands. So you grab some chalk, rub it on your hands, maybe you rub a little on the bell, grab that bell and go. And I feel like that's something like 30 seconds. So that's IKFF. International Kettlebell Organization, which is the Denis Vasilev, who has been my kettlebell sport coach for almost a year. Until recently, I've been doing my own shit. Anyway, he's fantastic. He's amazing, 11-time world champion. It's literally all about sport. He teaches all the technique, how to teach others the technique of sport, but mostly he goes over how to organize your work, your training for sport, how to work those mesocycles to get stronger, build up, and then taper back off, how to go from one exercise to the other, when you should do, like all that type of shit is covered in his course. He's also got a book, so if you want his book, jump on, well actually, fuck, I have a copy. If you want, I'll give you a copy of his book. I've got books from Steve Cotter too, if you want some of those. You just borrow them, take them with you for your next 5 weeks, and you can go through the book and get a bunch of ideas from stuff like that too, from either or both. I've got so many fucking kettlebell books, man, whatever. I never turned this on. I hope I can hear this. Anyway, so Denis Vasilev's 11-time world champion. He was in the Russian team, like all that type of stuff back in the day. Amazing, amazing guy. Knows lots and lots of information. To get the certification, you go through the whole course, you learn all the stuff, that's great. The certification, you actually have to compete. You don't have to compete in an active competition, you just have to do an actual competition lift. So you got to do a video weighing the bells, weighing yourself, saying this is the exercise I'm doing. For reference, when I got my certification, I was doing a level 3 certification, so the highest one they offer, unless you're a master of sport, which is, I'll fucking never be. But for the regular human being, the highest level they offer, and so you had to be a rank 1 lifter, so I had to do, and they didn't care, he didn't care what level it was, as long as you got rank 1. So in kettlebell sport, the weight determines the level you're at. I was doing the beginner weight, so 16 kilograms, the lowest opportunity possible, and I needed to do a rank 1 lift. I was doing snatch. I think I had to do 124 reps, and I did like 126. So 25 reps a minute's fucking hard. It's real fast. Yeah, even he was a little impressed when I did it, which made me feel fucking awesome. So I had to do that, and I want to say I had 3 months from the time I took the course to do that. So if you want to go more that direction, it is, think competitive style grinding weightlifting is what kettlebell sport is, but it's endurance based. The shortest competitions they have are 5 minutes, and for things like snatch, well, for all things, you can't put the bell down, but for things like snatch, you can only change your hands once in those shorter competitions, 5 minutes and 10 minutes. When you get to the marathons, with the organizations like the International Kettlebell Marathon Federation, IKMF, those are at least 30 minutes, but up to 8 hours or some crazy shit. I believe at that point, you can switch hands as much as you want, and at the really long ones that are more than like an hour, I believe you're allowed to put the bell down. And then just as many reps as you can accumulate in that time period. So yeah, so that's kind of like the sport certification that I have that potentially you could go get. Functional kettlebell training is the most recent one that I went through. I've gone through a few other ones that I'm not even going to recommend because they're I just don't see the purpose of them. You know, just shit that I did that I kind of go, eh. Functional kettlebell training. This one's fucking interesting in that it's not really a flow certification, but it's not really a weightlifting certification. It's somewhere in the middle. And that makes it kind of neat, in my opinion. So their whole thing is, their big workout stuff, which is the easiest way for me to describe it, is BA, he calls it, right? It's be able, be athletic, be adaptable, and badass, because the dude that fucking runs it is fucking hilarious. The exercises that you'll do in those, I'm going to try to remember it exactly. It's be able is 14 swings and 9 push-ups per minute, every minute on the minute, so EMOM, for 12 minutes. You're trying to use 40% of your body weight, and you have to change the style each one. So you've got 4 different styles of swings that you have to do, and then you just do essentially 3 rounds of that to get the full 12 minutes. So, demonstrating, I've got 2 hands, standard swing, right? Then you've got standard swing with my right hand, standard swing with my left hand, so now we're on round 3, and then I have switching for round 4. As you're taking the class, though, he gets way more interesting with it, because then he starts to teach you things like offset swings, where now I'm taking my feet and I'm turning one to be slightly behind the other, okay? So the toes of my one foot are in line with the heel of my other foot. My knees are still kind of in line, so I'm still moving together, but now all the weight is on that lead leg, or most of it. It's like probably 70% or some bullshit. So you'll do your bilateral, 2-handed swings, and then your next round, when it's your right hand, your right foot will be back. So all the weight's on my left leg. And then all my weight on my left, or all the weight in my left hand, all the weight's on my right leg, and then switching for that round 4. The other way that you can do it, again, something they teach you, is how to do more, if you think of this like you were doing the other day as your lateral swing, this would be like a 45-degree swing. So I'm opening my legs, I'll turn my foot out a little bit, and maybe I'll rotate in, maybe I won't, depends, and you're going in this direction. So you could do your bilaterals and then go right hand, left hand, and then maybe offsets for your switching, whatever. You get the point. There are basically a lot of different ways to modify that one simple workout and make it more interesting and tax the body in different ways. So that's one of the exercises. That's the be able, the first variation, just basic. I'm gonna fuck the other ones up, so I'm just gonna go through them. The one I thought was the most fun that no one has ever shown me before, which is a novel thing. I've been doing kettlebells a long time. For someone to teach me something that I've never at least seen some variation of is not normal. It's pretty rare that I come across something I haven't seen, at least in some way. So, we're in, think like a Cossack. Okay, so lateral fucking squat, lunge, whatever. Cross hand is up. We're coming up to the center. I'm doing a curtsy, up, in. Then I step out on the other side. Here, curtsy, up, in. Okay? Now, with a little training, you end up doing that in all one motion. Ooh, buddy, I haven't done this one in a while. Whoop. So that's another one of the exercises he has you do. I can't remember the name right now. It's some silly bullshit. It's fucking, again, the dude that teaches it's funny as shit. So he's got silly ass names. Then you have one that oh man, this thing has got so many of my son's cars inside of it.
And then you learn an exercise called the step-up snatch, which eventually turns into snatch revolution. I think that's what he called it. So your step-up snatch, you're doing a vertical snatch now instead of a horizontal. I mean, technically you could do either, but the way you're learning it anyway, it's vertical. You're here, you're in that offset, you're squatting down, getting the bell, up, driving up from the leg that's staying on the ground so that you're all the way up on your toe here, really. And then you learn how to switch sides, you turn it into a half snatch. Then it turns into a fun little dance. So come back, high pull, snatch, half snatch as we step down, back, back, high pull, up. I think you get the point on that one. That takes a lot of coordination, which is kind of the point. He teaches you lots of other interesting things, different ways to swing. He talks about swinging outside the legs, how that can be learned and understand what's the point of any of this shit. Like, he goes over all that kind of stuff, most of which I can help you, kind of show you what the fuck he's talking about, but, you know, probably not the way he can, honestly. The dude's pretty fucking smart. Yeah. Now, the last one is mine. I'm doing belt system, okay? You, right now where you're at, can probably already test in to the blue belt, just so you kind of understand that's not super, super crazy. You've already got the skill to probably do that. Getting to purple belt, brown, black, red will take a lot of work. I can't even do the whole tests of everything that I created, just simply because I don't have the mobility for some of it, which gives me goals, and I love that shit. The design of this is, though, you have specific exercises you have to learn, like for getting your, and I've got this all on a spreadsheet that I'll just fucking get you a copy of, but you have specific exercises at each belt that you have to learn, and each belt's kind of got a theme. So like your first belt is just basic ass shit. I need to be able to do standard hinge style swings. I need to be able to do dead cleans. I need to be able to do half snatches. I need to be able to do windmills, push-ups, you know, basic shit like that. I call them kettlebell push-ups. So you're on 2 bells doing a push-up, balance that goes with that, all that good shit. You have to be able to do 10 reps of each of those at a fairly minimal weight. I'd have to look at it to remember, but I'm pretty sure you'd have to do it with like 16 kilos. It wouldn't be crazy hard. The next level, you're really looking more towards like kettlebell sport. So you've got a lot more of those to get your purple belt. So a lot of the exercises that go into kettlebell sports, you got to really learn jerks. You've got to learn proper double bell cleans, all that stuff. To get to brown, you've got to learn some juggling and stuff like that gets into there at that point. And eventually you're getting to the point where you have to be able to do things like pistol squats. You've got to be able to do SOTS press. I don't fucking even know if I can do this right now. But SOTS press is where we're all the way down, pressing all the way up. And eventually to get to that red belt, you've got to be able to do it with 2 hands. You got to be able to do overhead squats. All these things are built in, but the premise isn't that you have to have some crazy workout to pass. This is the thing with all of the kettlebell certifications that I didn't like, is with the exception of FKT, the IKO one I kind of understood, because if you're teaching people kettlebell sport, you better be a kettlebell sport competitor. That kind of makes sense, right? Or at least can show that I have done this, right? I understand this because I've done it, at least to some degree. Any of the other ones, though, there are certifications out there that I've specifically skipped because I'm like, bro, I'm not going to do that fucking horrible, horrible sounding test. Like, just to prove I can do it? I don't know. I don't see the point. It has nothing to do with my goals. I just want the information. And so I'm creating this for that. So for the person that really wants the information, but maybe could never pass some of these tests, that's what it's going to be there for, so you can learn skills. For each exercise in there, I want to say for blue belt, there's like 6 exercises. You have to do 10 reps, potentially per side, depending on what it is. And then you get a 1-minute rest. And then you do the next exercise, 1-minute rest, boom. And you just record the whole thing. I have a prescribed weight, but again, it's pretty low, right? It has to do with your weight a little bit, but I'm pretty sure you'd be at 16 kilos as a male. For most women, you'd be at 12 kilos. If you're really small, then I let them go down to, I think it's 10. And if you're quite larger, then I probably push them up. But it really depends. And I talk to each person individually when they go to do the test. At the level, once they pass their purple belt test, I have an opportunity for them to get a little asterisk on there, right? Or certification C, whatever you want to call it, where I am saying that I believe that you can teach other people. So as a blue belt, you can say I'm a kettlebell artist. I call it the kettlebell artist program. Kettlebell artist, like martial arts, huh? Kind of funny, right? Anyway, kettlebell artist, blue belt, and therefore I have said that this person knows at least a little bit about kettlebells. And then purple belt, boom. And then to get the certification C, the little asterisk on it, you have to teach it. That's all there is to it. You finish your purple belt test, and then you'll have to do a little bit of extra training with me where I get to actually see you teaching it. Okay, this is how I would teach this exercise. And it can't just be cookie cutter. This is, I watched your video and here is me regurgitating what you said. No, they have to be able to put it in their own words at least and show some deeper understanding of what the exercise is. And it's not too crazy, but I don't want just any random fucking person being like, hey, I'm a purple belt instructor for a kettlebell artist. And that's it all the way up. So those are the basic ones. There is also Strong First. That's the stuff. I have never done a certification from Strong First. Everything it's the hard style where it's hinge and snap and everything's fucking tight and squeezing. It's not my style. It really doesn't fit my desire. But that's where you'd constantly be pushing the weight, staying at relatively low reps. I want to say their test is 100 snatches in 5 minutes, 24 kilograms, one hand switch, which obviously they got from Kettlebell Sport. Kind of funny. But 24 kilos is pretty heavy. So, that's the thing. And then, of course, they test all the other stuff. And that's where they do a lot of like Turkish get-ups. They teach that. I don't know at what level in the Strong First certification course they do that, but you learn Turkish get-ups. I want to say in mine, I've got it at brown belt. You have to be able to do full Turkish get-ups. Yeah, so those are the basic certification courses. I know I'm fucking missing something. There's other ones out there. Kettlebell Flow was the first one I ever did, but it doesn't exist, I don't think, anymore. Marcus Martinez taught that one. It's a really good course, but it was a lot of really more unique stuff. Rotating. So twisting and rotating a lot, where you're here. Or like down on the ground doing, again, I really thought this was neat and applicable to being a grappler. Here. Whoa, shit. It's like a beast clean. So all the way through, and then he would come all the way up. Really unique exercise. So if you want to get more that direction, I don't know that there's a certification out there that teaches you that anymore. Happy to do it. I can put it on a video for a specific weird little thing so you can work on essentially your animal flow, but with weight, if that's what you want. I can try to do that for you. Fuck, dude. I think that's mostly my thoughts on it. Tell me which direction you want to go, and I can get you the specifics on what you would need for that one. And then we'll also talk about when the trainings are available and by who. Like if you decide to go IKFF, technically Cassie is certified at level 3, so she can certify people for level 1, but we've never done it, so I don't really know what all that entails, and I'm sure there's some financial part to it. But just for the knowledge sake, if you're like, dude, just let me fucking learn this real basic one, IKFF, cool, I'll put together some little videos for you so you've got something to go with. And or when I see you tomorrow, we'll just walk over and be like, cool, you gotta do swings like this, you gotta do fucking blah, 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 whatever. And fuck, man, that's what I got. God, I hope I can hear this whole fucking video. I'm gonna be real pissed off.